Hey legends, before we move on, I just want to bask in the glory of UFC 312 a little bit more. Let's just enjoy it as long as we can, okay? Yes, we weep for our boy Jack Jenkins. I'm not quite ready to put up the tombstone just yet, but it's gonna happen this week, I'm sure. I want to take a moment to just look at Dricus du Plessis' post-fight press conference. There was a few interesting things that came out of it for me. Plus, there's these like rumors going around in the MMA community, so I just want to take a look at all of that. Now, what the specific part that I want to look at is when Dricus du Plessis, he's talking about Hamzat Chimaev, but he's also talking about Alex Pereira. So firstly, he gets asked about Mr. Skinny Boy Pereira, skinny little arms, skinny little legs Pereira, and whether or not he'd move up to 205 to fight him. Now, just the fact that it was Alex's name that got brought up before Hamzat goes to show just that Alex Pereira is a bigger star over Hamzat Chimaev. So just money fight-wise, excitement fight-wise, a fight with Alex Pereira is clearly bigger than the one over Hamzat. If Hamzat was the biggest star, the press would be asking him about Hamzat first. Let's take a look at it now.
He came up and he said, "Did you challenge me?" And I was like, "I did the whole show, I did the whole movie scene and everything." And you're like, "Did you challenge me?" That's kind of, I mean, that's anticlimactic, but sure, yes. And I said, yeah, I did challenge you, but I did, I have the world's respect for Alex Pereira. I think he is the pound for pound best fighter in the world. I know I can beat him, and at 205, 100%. No, Hamzat's first.
Hamzat's first?
Hamzat's first. No, I
Right, so there we go. Yeah, he's asked, so were you officially challenging Alex Pereira? And even though DDP made it very clear that he does want to challenge Pereira, he said Hamzat first. He's got to fight Hamzat first, yeah? And he believes that Alex Pereira is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, so he wants to do Hamzat and then move on to Alex, okay? Now, what is so interesting about this, right, is that, like, number one, Alex Pereira isn't the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, okay? He's not even close. Well, maybe close. He's like 6th or 7th. We're going to be arguing about that tonight on the live stream, actually. So by the time this video drops, it'll be, within like 8-10 hours after this video drops. We'll be arguing about that on the live stream. He praises Alex Pereira, but it does make you wonder, right? If he fights Alex Pereira, who do you think wins that fight? And if he is going to be fighting Alex Pereira, that's only going to happen after he fights Hamzat Chimaev. And there's already people out there. There's already other content creators and talking heads out there starting the talk. Man. I don't mind big DDP against Hamzat, man. DDP, he finds a way, man. DDP, he's a marauder. We've already got these whispers out there of people starting to jump on the big DP bandwagon when it comes to him going up against Hamzat Chimaev. So when you break down the fight, if you think that DDP has got what it takes to out-wrestle Hamzat Chimaev, then you sort of are admitting that you think that he has what it takes to out-wrestle Alex Pereira. Yeah? I mean, if he's getting through Hamzat Chimaev with the wrestling, he's clearly going to get through Alex Pereira with the wrestling. Saying that you believe DDP beats Hamzat, I believe is akin to saying you believe that DDP beats Alex Pereira. I mean, here's the thing with Dricus. We know this. He is a phenomenal game plan. He doesn't just think about what he's going to say on the microphone at the press conference to try and make his opponents cry. He knows exactly what he's going to do in the cage and when to implement it and how to implement it as well. He looks like a spaz, but he is very cerebral in there. He is picking and choosing what he is going to do. Everything that he does has a purpose. The joke is when he's in there, everything looks like someone who's never trained a day in their life before. He's like a drunken monkey in there. But Dricus has this mentality of zero wasted energy. If you throw a big old meaty hook, well, now you're already in range. You might as well transition it into a takedown. If you've thrown a takedown and you've shot a takedown and it doesn't land, well, now you're already in nicer clothes. So you might as well clinch and try and go for some body shots. He believes that no matter what you do in MMA, you have pushed forward and do not waste any of that energy. Just continually push forward. He's like the goddamn juggernaut from Marvel. And look, it's working for him. It's working for him. It's now he's now a multiple-time defending champion. But when it comes to Dricus versus Hamzat, Hamzat is obviously going to try and out-wrestle Dricus, yeah? And Dricus, it is probably going to happen, mainly in that first round, where Hamzat is just going to go 1,000% at Dricus. But Dricus does seem to have that pure Chad energy to just survive the first round, which I think he does, yeah? And there's something that we have seen a lot in MMA. You really see it not just at the highest levels, but all throughout MMA. When someone is in a horrible position at the bottom, when they're getting squeezed and they're getting hurt, I think back to Alexander Volkanovski against Brian Ortega, or any Derek Lewis fight, really, like Derek just gets up. Or Tony when he's under Charles Oliveira, or JDM when he's under Burns with a broken forearm. And again, just countless Apex fights that we've seen throughout the years. When a fighter simply has the will to get off the bottom position, the will to win, the will to push through the sub, the will to find some space, just find any angle at all to just get your hips out and start to work to get back up. If anyone has got that kind of willpower, it will be BDP, yeah? BDP. But can he submit Hamzat Chimaev? Can he take down Alex Pereira and submit him? When you look at DDP versus Izzy, he got the choke after rocking Izzy. Izzy was on a retreat, Izzy was backing away, Izzy was running up against the cage, BDP was throwing those big shots over the top and then lands on him and drags him down. It was a very similar thing with Darren Till. Like, he controlled Darren Till all through the first round. Darren just kept doing the thumbs up while he was getting punched in the head. Darren started to look a little bit good in the second round, and then DDP ended up just marauding him even more, flattening him out, and just King Konging the shit out of the back of his head. Eventually, he gets him into that rear naked choke. Now, Derek Bronson as well. Derek Bronson, known for his wrestling. And yeah, there are times when Bronson is in top position, and it appears like visually Bronson was getting the better of the wrestling with Dricus. But even when Dricus was on bottom, he just kept looking for leg locks, kept looking for ankle locks, kept looking for anything to do to create scrambles to work his way out of the position. And eventually, he got it over Derek Bronson, the wrestler. So Dricus has already done what he has said he is going to do to Hamzat Chimaev, to other fighters, including wrestlers like Derek Bronson, yeah? And these things, they happened so long ago that we kind of forget how good Dricus is actually scrambling around on the ground. Because we've seen him in stand-up battles so much lately, we forget that he doesn't just have this drunken monkey style on the feet. He's got this drunken monkey style when it comes to the ground as well. He's exactly the same when he's on the ground. And that is extremely relevant. I bring all that to you because Hamzat Chimaev, man. Hamzat Chimaev, he hates the submission game. He hates it. He loves wrestling, but he hates the submission game. He said when he felt those submissions coming from Gilbert Burns, he didn't like it and he decided to stand up and just let it go on the feet. He decided to let it slip and rip on the feet because of what Gilbert was throwing at him. And if that's the same thing that's going to happen in the Dricus fight, Dricus is going to drag him into the wall. And now that it's going to be a championship fight, we're talking about the third, fourth, the fifth round, Hamzat Chimaev is going to gas, right? Evidence for that, Kamaru Usman, 11 days notice, off the couch. Hamzat was planning to take that fight at the higher weight class. He had a full training camp, 11 weeks. Kamaru Usman didn't have a full training camp. He was just hanging out in the gym, moved up a weight class on 11 days notice. And Hamzat started to gas in that fight when he couldn't finish a Kamaru Usman 11 days off the couch. So, even if Hamzat and Dricus are both gassing, the fight is going on late, Dricus has proven and shown that he is the guy that has no quit in him. Even when he is feeling gassed out, he will keep going no matter what. The sped striking, the sped grappling, it does not give up. He pushes all the way to the 25th minute. And considering that the Hamzat fight is going to happen before the Alex fight, if you think Dricus is going to get it done over Hamzat Chimaev, like I said at the start of the video, kind of got to admit that Dricus is going to get it done over Alex Pereira. But then, is Alex Pereira still going to be there? Because if Alex Pereira and DDP happens, that means Alex must have somehow, through some sort of divine MMA god's intervention, survived Big Magomed Ankalaev. And the thought of that gets me so excited. The idea of DDP beating Hamzat and Alex beating Magomed and then those two stepping up to fight each other. Quite frankly, it sounds like crushing up 3 Viagras, mixing them with some cocaine, and going to a Conor McGregor party. My dick can only get so hard to imagine such a fight. That would be a true super fight. Not a John Jones who had to run away from Stipe Miocic when Stipe was striking. Not a Alexandre Pantoja moving up to a Merab who was clearly bigger than him, you know, or even a smaller Ilia Topuria who's probably going to get head kicked by Islam Makhachev. DDP getting through Hamzat and Alex surviving Mohamed. If that fight were to happen, good God Almighty. Let me know down there in the comments, who do you think would win out of Dricus du Plessis and Hamzat Chimaev, and Dricus du Plessis versus Alex Pereira? Put it down there in the comments. If this is your first time here, g'day, my name is Dougie. I try and make an MMA video every day of the week, Monday to Friday, and I go live about 3 times a week. If you want to know when all that happens, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell when you want to know when I go live. Tonight's live stream is creating the proper pound for pound list. We haven't done this since late in 2024, so it's good to be back at that sort of a live stream. We'll be doing that again tonight. If you enjoyed this video and you're already on board with the channel, please leave it a like. And if you're one of the paying members of the channel, thank you so much. Your names are up on the next slide. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.